Welcome to the most must-see podcast in all of podcast history. I am your host Ryan Taylor, and this is my super sexy co-host Indy Mancini. This is acidmouthproductions, proudly presenting to you our inaugural P.E.E On The Podcast. And here on P.E.E On The Podcast, we are going to use our our point, evidence, and explain methodology to get into the nitty, gritty, witty, and the shitty of the subtext, metaphor, and general faff that we love in movies, in hopes that we can say anything intelligent with our own interpretations. Take it away, Indy.
Yeah, and with our inaugural episode, we're looking at the Halloween franchise.
We are indeed.
Specifically one timeline, as they get pretty messy later on. We're looking at Halloween 1,
1978.
Halloween 2,
1981.
and Halloween 4,
1988.
who were directed by...
3 different directors. We've got John Carpenter directing 1978. We've got Rick Rosenthal directing 1981. And we have Dwight H. Little directing 1988. Did I say that right? I feel like I said it wrong.
Who cares?
It goes chronologically.
It's on the screen. So it focuses on our antagonist Michael Myers in the town of Haddonfield. He murders his sister at the age of 6 and is locked up for 15 years by his psychiatric doctor, Loomis.
Dr. Sam Loomis.
Dr. Sam Loomis. But on the anniversary of his original murder, he escapes the first time 15 years later, and then it's 10 years,
10 years after that,
and then,
escapes again.
Then it's instantly, it's instantly after the first one, and then 10 years.
Yeah, it's after the first one. The second one carries on from that same night. It's more from the night he came home, and then the next one, 10 years later, he escapes again due to the ambulance crash.
Yeah, and he comes back to Haddonfield to terrorize his family. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, Jamie Lloyd characters.
And Laurie Strode.
No, not in the fourth one.
I mean, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. That's me.
It's often considered the monumental slasher. It wasn't the original, but it did cause a stir, a craze.
It popularized the genre as it goes. There was only a couple movies that happened before that. Being Psycho, Black Christmas, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre really being credited with what really started the genre in full. But yeah, this is where we really got our renowned killer. That led to our Freddy's, we led to our Jasons, definitely led to our Jasons.
Good enough to get 11 sequels. So it must have
11 questionable sequels.
11 questionable sequels.
And a multitude of timelines as well on top of that.
So many timelines, but we're looking at that one timeline.
Yeah, this is the original Michael Myers trilogy that we're looking at.
Yep.
Nothing else. We live in a blissful world where 5 and 6 do not exist.
No, not
You're looking at 1, 2, and 4. That is it. We are in our own little sphere here.
Because they present some really interesting topics, some really interesting themes, and that's what we're going to get into today. Specifically, is Michael Myers
the truest form
of evil?
Yes. And it's a big question to tackle. It's a good one for the inaugural episode. So.
And from my point of view, there's absolutely no doubt that he's evil. It's just to what extent is he evil? He's definitely evil.
I feel like I lean that way, but I also have doubt.
Okay, well, do you want to kick us off with your first P? Would you like to pee on the podcast?
I'm about to proceed to pee on the podcast. Are you ready? Okay, so my first point for our P on the podcast is Michael is a personification of the absence of good. He personifies absence. He is a natural evil that lies unwarranted chaos, destruction, and death in his wake. So I'm gonna take a minute just to go through some definitions about stuff. There are 4 main evils known in Theodicy that are studied. Obviously, here I'm just going to look at natural evil. Definition of natural evil is pain and suffering derived from the operation of natural laws, i.e., natural disasters or disease.
I want to just jump in here
to
say that this is often compared against moral evils.
Mm-hmm.
which are evils committed by individuals with a moral compass.
Yeah.
So, now, natural evils are typically evils that are that are suggested that they're acts of God.
Yeah, that's right. It's an act of God. It's something that's forced upon the world. I'll go into it a little bit.
Because although they're natural, there is a supernatural element in the idea of gods and demons.
And it's been a question of philosophers as to why these natural evils occur.
So you're suggesting right off the bat that Michael Myers is supernatural in his evil.
He's a supernatural force.
Okay.
I feel like he's a metaphor. I feel like he links to the fall, like Paradise Lost sort of thing. I think there's a lot of representation in there, and I'm going to get into it. So we're going to talk about theodicy first, Augustan theodicy. So theodicy, just as a definition, is a vindication of divine providence, of the existence of evil, therefore justifying God. It's clearing the blame of God. It's trying to look at it as to why evil is occurring. Saint Augustine, in the 5th century. Hello, August. His theodicy was that the world is actually perfect. Evil is not an existent entity. It's just the absence of good. So it's nothingness. Evil is nothingness, and I think I think
very interesting.
I think that relates to Michael in such a large way. So I believe, coming off the bat here, that Michael is the natural evil. He's maybe a consequence. Michael's a consequence of Haddonfield's sin. People of Haddonfield pursue lustful engagements with like sex and drugs. They dabble in all that kind of stuff. Examples, we've got Linda, like Bob, Annie, who are all pursue sexual engagements. You've got like Bud and Nurse Janet in the second one. It's all quite sexy there. There's also Jimmy.
That treatment therapy. Treatment therapy jacuzzi.
The treatment therapy jacuzzi. That was not sexy.
I thought that was hot stuff.
No, you're right. It was very hot stuff. And then you've got Kelly, and you've got Brady in the 4th one as well, and obviously Rachel, who's trying to pursue Brady, but there's a bit of romance thing there. On top of that, on top of sexual pursuits, the drug abuse, obviously Annie and Laurie in the first one where they're smoking in the car. You've got parents feigning their responsibilities of their children away onto other people.
Where are all the adults in any of the movies?
They're
doing terrible jobs. They're ignoring Loomis, is what they're doing.
Yeah, they're ignoring Loomis. Oh, this entire franchise is just about ignoring Loomis. Loomis comes to you, and you've got to listen. You listen to me. There's about to be a horrible thing happens, and everyone's like, nah.
It's Haddonfield.
It's Haddonfield. What happens in Haddonfield? They do say, there is a quote there that actually does say that nothing happens in Haddonfield. Like it's a town where there's not many crimes and a lot.
Apart from that one murder.
Stuff. Apart from a few murders in the end. The one murder, but the one murder in 1963. But I would say there are examples of Haddonfield being in pure place.
Definitely.
So therefore, it sort of runs along the lines of like a Noah's Ark thing. Like maybe Michael is a force sent from God, from a higher power, to bring justice upon Haddonfield. Like he's there to purify the small town of Haddonfield. Maybe. What are your thoughts?
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, because he definitely. All of his victims he goes after because they show some kind of indiscretion, through lust, through gluttony, through substance abuse.
Yeah.
There's definitely something. But although Laurie she smokes weed that one scene in the car.
She does smoke weed that one scene.
But that's
justifies.
That's her only, like, she doesn't do anything else.
But she's a very pure character in herself.
She
But
is
I keep
very
saying
pure.
she's conservative pretty throughout. Compared to Linda and Annie, at points are even shocked that she even thinks about getting with other guys. Her trying to break these boundaries, is that the straw that broke the camel's back? Is that, I don't know, is that maybe the final, Laurie Strode, this pure girl, maybe?
For somebody who's really pure and has that one tiny thing, that Michael isn't even aware of. He's not even aware of that. Like, all the other things...
But is he? Because, I don't know, because Mike, there's another point, but we won't go into that just yet.
They make a habit of making sure we see Michael stalking his victims first.
Yeah.
Watching them.
Very much so in the first movie, there's a lot of observational stuff.
Watching them do these sinful things.
Mm-hmm.
He watches them first, then he kills them.
Yeah.
He doesn't see Laurie do her sinful thing. He only sees her as a good character. And she is this morally perfect character, almost.
Yeah.
Almost. And I would agree that he's there to cleanse the town, except Laurie is his focus, who he stalks throughout the entire movie, and throughout the first one, and throughout the second one.
Yeah.
And then he continues to stalk her bloodline in the third one.
Yeah.
And if she's such a morally upstanding person, why is Michael so focused on killing her?
Because, like I said, because she's broke that that Puritan nature of herself. She's beginning to cast that way. She's growing up. This is a coming of age movie. No.
This is not a coming of age movie. This is not a coming of age movie.
No, but so she's growing up. She's 17 years old at this point, and she's beginning to come into her own as a woman, and she's beginning to dabble. She's beginning to try these new things out, whether it's weed, sex, whatever. New thoughts are approaching Laurie's brain, and I just wonder if she represents I'm gonna go to it, but the 70s conservative America, if she represents that sort of side of stuff, which was it was big in the 70s to be very conservative, family values, all that. And
there was massive counterculture. The hippie culture was booming in the 70s.
Yeah, and that's why there were lots of pressing movements against that. The Equal Rights Amendment Act, feminists. Minorities trying to fight all that kind of stuff because they were all very cast out. It was very, everything in America was quite pure at that time. But yeah, so Laurie breaking away from that. Maybe that's why Michael's trying to sort of end Laurie, and he'll do everything, and he'll cause destruction in his wake, and he causes a lot of destruction as well.
Absolutely.
I didn't even think about it at first. I was like, does Michael even cause that much? As a natural, if he was a natural disaster, he causes a lot.
I mean, ignoring the loss of life, there's lots of property damage from all the places he breaks into.
The hospital explodes. The ambulance that gets run off the road in the fourth movie.
There's the gas station that he blows up as well.
The gas station, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, there's a lot of, so you see, a lot of buildings, establishments, places being caved to the ground by this one guy. He's destruction. He sort of does embody that chaos of a natural disaster.
But does that make him evil? Because would you describe the Noah Ark event? Would you describe God flooding the earth as an act of evil? Is that an evil thing? Was that flood evil?
It depends on your perspective, I suppose. I mean, I guess it was the justification of God there was to purify the land. But I mean, you got to question. It's a hard one. It's hard to distinguish because your perspective. Because from God's perspective, no, of course that's not evil because he's doing what is right. He told Noah to gather the animals, get on the boat, sail away, build a family again. From a human perspective, why would you do that rather than anything else to sort of human enlightenment? If God's so powerful, why not just enlighten humans in a different way? Why was the only method of killing people? Why was the only method of solving this issue, resolving this issue of evil, killing people because they were tainted. Why not just send Jesus down again or something? I don't know. Wait, did that happen before or after? Was this Old Testament or was this New Testament? I don't know, the Bible.
My Bible's not as good as my Halloween.
We didn't study the Bible. We didn't do Bible studies for this.
No, we did not.
We did research.
Yeah, I guess he could be. I don't think that's an act of evil.
Mm-hmm.
At least I don't think that's Michael. I don't think Michael is evil in that case.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a supernatural power higher up than Michael.
Yeah.
A god figure, a devil figure. That's the evil. And Michael's just a tool. He's not even a present being. He's not even a sentient person in this instance. He's just a tool for a higher power's whim.
Yeah.
Will. So I don't think that does make Michael evil. I don't think that's enough to make Michael evil.
But he would be what is defined as a natural evil, though. Like the Noah's Ark.
I don't think he can fit.
But it's literally defined as
of it.
natural evil. Do I need to go for the definition again? It's natural disasters or disease, that happen to humanity, and we suffer because suffering causes metaphysical suffering because of this.
So you're saying
physical suffering.
Michael has absolutely no moral compass at all. He's not a human anymore. He's not a human in this.
He's not human. He's just a natural evil that's going after Laurie, for maybe her sins, and he'll just cause destruction in his way. Maybe it's the fate that drives him. Like, Laurie is his path to cause this widespread destruction. He's his path to cause to this cleansing. Okay. You can call Michael the cleansing.
Okay, but then
in a really sinister fashion.
If we go with that and we say he's a natural evil coming to wipe away sin in this town, then are we stripping away any kind of personhood? Because you can't ignore the family aspect of his character. He starts with the murder of his sister. He then, as we've learned from the fourth movie, he goes after, or is it the second movie? He goes after Laurie because she's his sister.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. In the second movie we find out that Laurie's his sister.
And then he continually pursues family, which isn't something you would find in a natural evil, a hurricane. Or a tornado. It doesn't bounce from one family's house to another. It just destroys whatever's in its path.
Which he does, but because of Laurie, and there's a lot of links with the fate and supernatural in this as well, which means that there could be a link there, Maybe Laurie's his key. Maybe Laurie's the key to the cleansing.
I don't think we can so easily ignore his corrupted family values. I think we can't put him on the same tier as a natural evil.
Yeah. I understand that a lot, and I feel like you've got a cool point to go into, but before you do, I want to continue, I want to try and swerve you,
okay.
And then, so just bear that one in mind about about this maybe not being so evil. So I want to start talking about ignorance as well. Michael himself is he's the most ignorant person. There's no reaching through to him. There's no getting through to him. He's just absent.
See, I don't think he's ignorant at all because he knows how to drive. That takes some knowledge.
It does take knowledge. But Michael takes in what he needs to do, essentially, for this cleansing. Let's say, for my point, if he is this cleansing, he takes all this on board, and then he goes ahead and he goes to kill.
So he's ignorant because he can't be reached.
Well, yeah, but he can't be reached. And let me go into something that Richard Swinburne said in 1978 about natural evils. Swinburne said the natural evils are a means of learning and maturing. It helps humans to cultivate virtues and forces humans to confront hardships and need. But Michael doesn't actually he doesn't nothing. I'm sorry. he causes chaos. Like no one learns anything from dealing with Michael's situation, and there's a lot of ignorance involved in those situations of the residents, whether they're ignoring Loomis and what he's trying to say about Michael,
or shooting people similarly dressed as Michael.
Yeah, shooting people similarly dressed as Michael, like the lynch mobs and stuff. Yeah. There's just ignorance all around that helps to cause this destruction, due to Michael and his ignorance in himself, because he's just absent.
So is ignorance evil?
Ignorance, I think I don't think it's not. It's the absence of belief, or the absence
of
knowledge that helps to cause this natural disaster.
I can see that as being...
if Loomis was going around saying there's an earthquake, there's a storm coming, think of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Yeah, and how he was told that he would forever have to preach to the world that the world's ending, right? Is that the...
I think you've...
Oh, have I got it mixed up?
Put a nail in your own coffin here, because the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, the mariner is being punished for his evil because he defied nature.
Mm-hmm.
He killed the albatross.
Yeah.
Which is his ultimate sin, which led to the supernatural events that happened.
Would you say Loomis isn't being punished in this entire series?
He's definitely being punished.
He's being punished. Loomis has done... I don't know what Loomis has done in it. I wish we need a Loomis prequel, because he's done something. I don't even think Loomis is maybe a good character.
No.
I think he might be evil, or there's something within himself. And he, at the end, he finally snaps when Michael is presumed dead, and then Jamie starts up. His entire work is ruined.
Yeah.
That's it. And he has to start again. And without questioning it, he doesn't go to console Jamie. His immediate thought is just to shoot. He snapped. He absolutely loses it at the end of that movie. Like that. This series is Loomis's fault. But I don't want to stray away from the ignorance too much, because I always wanted to talk about ignorance and how this was an important part of...
How does ignorance fit in with your definition of evil, though?
Of the natural
evil.
It's the ignorance of the evil coming.
But does that make Michael evil?
I feel like, me saying what?
Does ignorance of the victims make Michael evil?
I guess it's their own folly.
But does that make Michael evil?
I mean, he's still the causation. Yeah. If you ignore a storm warning and a storm comes and takes you out, people would still be stricken by people would still be stricken by grief.
Yeah.
So people, and you would still be stricken by death. So therefore, there would still be an evil that occurs. He's just a natural evil. Does natural evil mean evil? Does it mean the truest form of evil?
I don't think it does. I don't think it is the truest form of evil. I think for it to be the truest form of evil, you have to have an element of moral evil, and you have to have a personhood.
Yeah.
Like, personhood evil is a significant factor in these movies, I think. And I think you can't have a truest form of evil if you ignore those attributes of evil.
Mm-hmm. I could understand.
So I don't think it is.
I could understand what you're saying. Okay, so what if we go into the morality of things then?
Okay.
So I want to talk about Socrates a little bit.
Oh, we love Socrates.
I love Socrates. I was proud when I sort of researched this. I was like, I can't believe I'm talking about Socrates. I feel like I know him so much. It's a philosopher from
ancient times.
Yeah, ancient times. from the ancient times.
The real old times.
Philosopher from can I say 400 BC?
Yeah, why not?
Pretty much.
Roughly.
Roughly 400 BC.
Who knows? It's old times.
Yeah. So Socrates said that nobody chooses willingly to do wrong. Doing wrong has always harmed the wrongdoer, and nobody seeks to bring harm upon themselves. And therefore, ignorance is the cause of evil, and therefore
Ignorance to outcomes. Ignorance to
yeah,
harm.
because no one willingly does evil. It's just the ignorance of that situation. So, say if you really want a pie, but you know the pie is not yours, and you just ignore the fact that this is someone else's pie, and you steal that pie, you only committed an evil act because you ignored the fact that it was someone else's pie. You with me?
Barely.
Okay.
Barely. Why don't you do it in terms of Halloween? That'd be a nice metaphor.
Okay, right, yeah, okay, so that's probably a better one. So Michael, I would say Michael is the ultimate ignorance. He's been seen to by Loomis for the longest time.
So,
and he ignores the goodwill of Loomis and pursues to kill people
willingly.
Willingly.
Does he do it willingly?
Yeah. Well, is it against his will? Is it a weird blend between natural and...
Socrates says nobody does harm willingly.
But if Michael's supernatural, then surely natural and moral could go hand in hand. Loomis trying to get through to this natural evil supernatural boy for all these years to try and do what he can with him to rehabilitate him. Or maybe it's something, I don't know, maybe more evil. Maybe Loomis wanted the power for himself, and that's why, I don't know.
I don't think so. He seems afraid of the power.
Well, I don't know. Why is he so obsessed with Michael and keeping Michael?
I think he doesn't want people to die. I could see a mixture.
I don't know. I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to. I don't know.
You just wanted to name drop Socrates.
I don't want to name drop Socrates at all. No.
Because I could see a combination of supernatural moral evils.
Yeah.
That would be a truer form of evil if he was a combo. Like if he was divinely intervened with powers to commit evil actions that were spurred by moral motivations.
Yeah.
That could be the truest form of evil right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because moral, one aspect of evil is the motivation to do evil.
Yeah.
One interpretation of personhood evil is that the person committing the evil acts has to have regular motivations to commit the acts. Some people disagree whether or not just motivation is good enough, or if you have to carry out with the acts. But that doesn't matter in Michael's case, because he has both.
Yeah.
He's motivated to commit these evil acts, and he carries them out.
Yeah.
So, that coupled with a supernatural design to cleanse the town, I think could be a true form of evil.
Exactly. Maybe Michael's repression from that experience of when he was a child, maybe the supernatural entities forcing him to do it. He's being told not to by external human sources. He continues, maybe the supernatural thing pushes these repressed impulses and gets Michael to cleanse the town. Ignores. He's ignorant.
He's not ignorant. Ignorant isn't the same as ignoring.
He's ignorant. Well, I mean...
Ignorant is unknowing. He's unknowing of a certain aspect. It doesn't mean he could be now intentionally being ignorant. That's a whole different thing. But he's not like ignoring people. Does he have the capacity to even understand other people?
You really couldn't say. You couldn't say because... Yeah, he does. He does. He understands his name. He understands his name when Laurie says it.
He understands his name.
I don't think
being ignorant is the same as being evil.
Surely ignorant isn't defined as just unknowing, because ignorant would be being braced with some kind of information cast in you to cast that away. It's being ignorant of
ignorant something. Just means you don't know something.
You don't apply motivation, or you don't apply...
Ignorance just not knowing something, not being aware of something. That is what ignorance is not knowing something. If you intentionally position yourself so you don't learn about something, intentional ignorance, that could be a negative aspect. I don't think it's quite as negative as being completely evil.
Yeah.
But that's a negative attribute for somebody. But just ignorance on its own, that's not a bad thing. That's not somebody... Like, I'm ignorant... Right now, I have no idea what is going on in the town of Charlotte, Michigan. I don't know what's happening there right this second. I'm ignorant...
Isn't Charlotte, North Carolina?
There's lots of Charlottes.
Okay.
Charlotte, Michigan might be a made-up place. I'm ignorant to the fact
that even exists.
Charlotte, Michigan is a place. Does that make me evil because I don't know about
But
that town?
it's how you'd go about pursuing. If you it would be evil if motivations after that were to do something to, I don't know, cause some kind of physical evil, maybe metaphysical evil to
But that's the evil
residents.
part.
Maybe people from Charlotte will be really disappointed that you don't know from Charlotte, Michigan.
The ignorance.
We're sorry, okay? Evil.
The ignorance isn't the evil part then.
Mm-hmm.
The ignorance isn't the evil part.
It is, because you're evil, because you just ignore
It's what you do after that you just said is the evil part. It's the action you do after which is evil.
Yeah.
After learning or after deliberately not learning.
But it's the ignorance that causes the evil, right?
No. No.
No.
No.
You said it's what you do after.
No, ignorance can't cause evil. If I walk down the street right now, and I step out of my house...
Maybe it's on the context then.
If I step out of my house and walk down the street, I'm ignorant to the people behind me because I didn't look at them. If one of them then shoots me in the back of the head, did my ignorance to that psychopath behind me cause him to shoot me?
No. But maybe it's ignorance.
And my ignorance has nothing to do with evil.
Okay, so maybe I'm talking about ignorance in context.
Okay, in which context?
In the context of Halloween.
Fuck you. In what specific context with Michael? Why is Michael's ignorance... How does his ignorance make him the truest form of evil?
Michael's...
I don't think you can easily answer this question, which means...
I'm really trying. I'm really trying hard.
You can't do it. You can't... Because his ignorance doesn't make him the truest form of evil.
Maybe...
Ignorance of his character doesn't make his actions more evil.
I don't know, I really felt like that... I don't know, I really like that Michael's ignorance towards the emotion, the feeling beyond the people. Like, he doesn't see people as people.
That's not ignorance, though.
Is it?
It's not ignorance. Because if he doesn't see people
acknowledge people as that.
I think you're mistaking ignorance for a lack of empathy.
It says he's ignorant of empathy. Maybe he doesn't know what empathy is.
I don't think you know what ignorance is.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I just because I answered you right then. He's ignorant of empathy. Maybe he just doesn't understand empathy.
Is that not understanding? The problem with ignorance and the definition of ignorance is that ignorance is solved through learning and through seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
If you're wired, if you're a psychopath and you just lack the capacity to feel empathy for someone, no amount of learning...
Which he absolutely does, because there's
no amount of learning is going to fix that. You can't become more empathetic through learning. Not if you're a psychopath. For regular humans, that's how it works, but not for a psychopath who has no empathy control whatsoever. So, I'm hesitant to describe anything he does as ignorant because it suggests that he can learn to be better, and I don't think Michael could ever learn to be better.
Okay, that's a better... Okay, I can get on board with that, maybe. Maybe he's just... But they've tried, and it definitely failed, and there's definitely no getting... Like, they say, Loomis said, you just want him locked away or practically dead because there's absolutely not one way of getting through to him, and he's only going to cause more chaos. as time goes on. So yeah, if ignorance does imply learning, then maybe you can't argue that ignorance doesn't help facilitate the evil going on. Maybe, but I would have said that him being ignorant of empathy towards others, and
But
because he's just an absent being. That is sort of my.
He is absent, but is absent the same as ignorance? I think ignorance is, as you said, contextual. It has to be. You have to be aware of, like, if you're fully absent, then there is no such thing as ignorance, because there's no such thing as knowledge for you either. You have to have knowledge to be ignorant on other areas, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just ignorance without the presence of knowledge isn't ignorance anymore. It's just absence, and I think absence is separate from ignorance in that sense.
But can you be truly evil without knowing what good is? What
That
empathy
is a good question.
Yeah.
Because there's loads of personhood definitions of evil, which suggest that specifically affected evil. So that suggests that you have to emotionally desire evil. Like, you're a very emotional being, needs to commit evil acts, needs to fantasize about evil acts, and you gain pleasure from other people's pain.
Yeah. But that's on a human level, but there's a lot to distinguish that Michael maybe just isn't human, maybe he's a machine. Loomis characterizes Michael, like the language he uses, like, he says, "Death has come to your little town, sheriff." He calls Michael it. He says inhumanly patient, like, there's a good quote in the fourth movie where he says, "You talking about him as if he was a human being. That part of him died years ago." Michael isn't human. He's just this autonomous robot that is designed to kill. Does Michael even understand what evil is? And does that make Michael just true evil? This natural force of evil to be reckoned with. If he's inhuman, so he must have come from somewhere. Is it a god? Is it a higher power?
I think if we're going to achieve the truest form of evil, it has to be a mixture of supernatural and moral evils. It has to be both a higher power, but also an evil found in people, in humans. And that would be the truest form of evil, because it's a combo of both. That, to me, is true evil.
Yeah.
Now, if you're saying he can't understand the concept of moral evil, he can't understand moral evils, he shows no personhood evils, anything like that, he doesn't have any kind of evil habits.
Yeah, he's just he's literally like a natural disaster.
Then for my definition of pure evil, makes him no longer pure evil.
It doesn't.
A natural disaster isn't pure evil.
But he only serves to kill.
He does only serve to kill, but which makes him, a natural disaster. He's got no other purpose. But he still targets, which is a very human element. It's a very human element of his character. He still targets all those people throughout the franchise.
He does target, yeah.
And it's
but
not
we
as
have to question why he's going to target. I think we will get into why he targets.
If he was a natural disaster, he wouldn't target. But specifically, he wouldn't spare. He spares those children that run into him.
He spares the kid that runs into him.
Natural disaster sees an evil natural disaster sees. It doesn't have that.
He spares Rachel as well. He spares Loomis technically.
He does spare Loomis at the gas station.
The gas station, yeah, and Rachel when he throws her off the roof, but he doesn't make sure she's dead. I mean, you could argue that he thought he killed her, I guess, but he goes straight to Jamie. There's no checking. It's just he is one set goal.
And I don't think, because he targets and because he doesn't target, I don't think you can pin him down to being a natural disaster. Not a complete supernatural evil.
Yeah.
Because he discriminates. He discriminates his targets.
Yeah.
Which there is no discrimination in a supernatural or a natural disaster. He just doesn't. it goes against that definition.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe point one doesn't live up to the hype. Maybe.
I think he's definitely evil. I don't think he's pure evil.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so the natural stuff. Maybe that's just not powerful. I mean,
it's definitely a good step, but I think I mean the natural stuff is probably the closest to pure evil we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
But I think it's debunked by him having a personal stake in the actions he commits, and his presentation of personhood evils, which means he can't be a natural evil solely.
There's a bit of humanity showing, which shows that there's just too much humanity showing for it to be
any humanity is too much
complete
humanity.
natural evil.
But then
he's evil.
Thanks. All right, we can walk away.
No,
I mean, he's definitely evil.
No, because
that's not in question. He's definitely evil.
So
is it the truest form?
Relating to the inhumanness, at the Myers house, they find the warm body of a dog. He's eating a dog as well, and that is.
Imply he's eating a dog.
Yeah, he's a big dog killer. Yeah. Michael hates dogs.
Hates them.
True evil.
Michael hates bitches.
Michael hates bitches. It's a pretty true evil. It's pretty true evil to me.
I mean, maybe, but the instances we see him kill dogs, I don't even think of that.
It's product killing, really, isn't it? Because he kills to eat, or he kills to get the dog out the way and his house.
Yeah, so I don't think they're from an objective, from our standpoint, people who empathetically care about dogs because we see them as pets. We can see that as being evil, and there's an argument that it's evil, but a hunter killing a deer to sustain himself, or a caveman going on a hunt to get food for their family, is that evil? It is just sustenance. He's just trying to sustain himself, and he's not quite human, so he doesn't do that in the typical sense. Is that evil? And then in the second one, it's just self-preservation. Can self-preservation be evil? Because he's just trying not to get caught. And he's trying to do bad
Trying not to get caught doing a terrible thing.
Yeah. And he's doing bad things. But does that make him... It definitely doesn't make him a natural evil.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy, really. Good guy, Myers.
But does it make him the truest form of evil? Like, that motivation isn't evil to do for evil's sake, which would be a true form of evil. It's evil to self-preserve. Yeah. Is that the truest form of evil?
Not able to self-preserve. It's not necessarily evil to self-preserve. Much like animals in the wilderness, it's not evil for them to kill other animals to self-preserve. On a human level, there's definitely a thinking here in 2021. Veganism on the rise.
Can we look at the 1978 through 1988 films of Halloween through a 2021 lens?
We are. That is what this is. We are looking at in this series. We're going to be looking at these movies through a contemporary lens, and we're going to be looking at what what is defined as. And I think maybe in this case it's important. Should this question have been in 2021? Is
Michael Myers problematic? Yeah, that's the question. Is Michael Myers problematic? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's real problematic.
Cancel Michael Myers.
Really sexist. Really sexist.
Cancel Michael Myers. I don't know if he's super sexist. He does. That's a whole other thing.
He kills a lot of naked women.
He does kill a lot of naked women. And
which is why I don't think he's a true form of evil, because I think there's sexual gratification to some of his killings.
There's still men. He still kills men. A lot of penetration with Bob, and the bonking of Garrett. The head. Yeah. That made a really good noise. But and obviously, he strangles Bud as well.
And he strangled
out and the back.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what the ratio is exactly, but he does kill a lot of guys, but he does also kill a lot of women. And the women are a bit more drawn out. You always remember the therapeutic scene.
A lot more overtly sexual.
Yeah.
For female killings.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of choking.
Yeah, he never.
A lot of BDSM.
He's never stabbing one of the guys when their dicks are out.
No. He only ever wants to stab Laurie, though, which I think is really interesting. Pretty incestuous. He doesn't stab girls.
He stabs the nurse.
Oh, wait, actually, he does slit he just
And he slits the
Annie,
throat
yeah.
of the girl in Halloween 1 in
Yeah.
the car,
yeah.
stabs the nurse and lifts her off the ground.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I
Stabs
thought.
his sister, but that's
Yeah.
more along the
Yeah.
lines of.
Maybe not then.
But yeah, he does have a.
Well, you know what? Loomis would disagree with you because Loomis would say that Michael is the truest form of evil. There's a whole quote in that Myers house when they see that dog, and you know I think this links it. I think it links in more with supernatural stuff. So I'm gonna hold it off until then.
See, I think we have to really pin down a definition of the truest form of evil to stack Michael up against it. Like, in your mind, what is a true form of evil? What makes true evil and what makes just evil? What dirties the water of evil to make it not true? Not the truest form, anyway.
Yeah.
Like, because this is a philosophical question as old as time, and we're not going to answer it here.
No.
But we have to come up with a definition we can use to apply to Michael Myers.
In a fictional
for
sense.
Truest evil.
In a fictional sense, it has to be someone like. Surely someone like a Joker who's manipulative and causes death and does it for pleasure.
So
Has no care for materialistic thing. Well, actually, that's not make evil. Wait, no, but he's just like he just lives for the chaos, doesn't he? In a real sense, and a physical sense, it would be someone like Adolf Hitler who's manipulative in that way, cause lots of killing. I don't know, is Adolf Hitler the truest form of evil?
that's a whole different question. I've not seen that movie, so I can't tell you.
You've not seen that movie? Oh man, you should check it out. It's crazy.
See, for me, the truest form of evil is an evil that commits evil for evil. There's no personal gain, there's no pleasure, there's nothing other than a means to commit evil because you want. Because that is it. There is only evil. There's nothing else. Like, I think the truest form of evil is just evil. There's no sense of pleasure, there's no sense of morality, there's no sense of anything.
But then Michael doesn't feel anything, and there is no sense of morality.
Does he? Wait.
And
Does
he
he
just
not feel
does,
anything?
He doesn't kill.
There's implications that he gets sexual gratification from some of his kills.
There's grunting.
There's
and
grunting.
Huffing.
In Halloween 2, in the hospital, where he's taking the place of Buddy, and we've got the sexy nurse at the jacuzzi.
Yeah. Oh no, he
lets her lick his fingers for a little while. He stood there enjoying it. He also poses as is it Billy?
Yeah.
Is it Billy from the first one? In the ghost.
Bob. Yeah, Bob.
And he poses as Bob.
Yeah.
On your T-shirt.
Look, Bob. Goes Bob.
Because there's he knows there's an element of sexuality between Bob and I cannot remember.
Linda.
You know, he knows, and she exposes herself to him sexually, and he just stands there. He doesn't move to kill, which is if he was purely evil, he wouldn't even hide. He would just go.
Yeah.
To finish the.
I would argue that he holds himself off to be able to make the kill. Like he lowers the guard of Linda the same way he lowered the guard of Janet.
Is it Janet? I don't remember the nurse's name.
I think it was Nurse Janet in the hot tub.
Boiled face.
With the boiled face.
Yeah.
I think. No, Karen. Was it Karen? I think it was Nurse Karen. I want to say it was because I remember seeing the name Karen and I was like,
okay,
Karen.
See,
but I think he holds off. See, like Jason. Jason's a bit more abrupt with his kills and stuff as his Leatherface, whereas Michael holds off to be able to make.
He stalks.
Yeah, he stalks.
Which is pleasure. He does it for pleasure. Like, why? So if he holds off for some people to lower their guard, so he can make the kill easier, why does he expose himself and stalk some people, which would surely raise their guard?
Saying that he pleasures himself.
Stalking. I think the whole.
That brings a whole new realm.
I think he gets pleasure from his kills. I think he's definitely evil without a question. I think you definitely have evil perpetrators who gain pleasure from pain. That is just an aspect of evil. I just don't think that's the truest form of evil. I think the only motivation for evil should be because it is evil. There should be no personal gain.
Yeah.
Like Socrates said, people don't commit evil acts because it always backfires on the perpetrator.
Yeah.
I think almost the opposite of that for true evil. They do commit evil acts because it is only evil as the outcome. I think that is the truest form of evil. And I don't think we can point to Michael Myers and say he's doing these things just for evil's sake.
Yes.
I think there's too many hints.
There's too many hints that it's a pleasurable experience.
That he's getting pleasure out of it.
That's a fair argument.
I think
it's a fair argument against this.
Because there's no doubt he's evil.
But on the scale,
I just don't think he reaches true.
Do you don't think he's 100?
I don't think he's 100. I don't think he's 100.
No, he's not 100.
He's not 100 evil.
Okay.
Because he gains too much pleasure. I think he gains too much pleasure. I think he has some sort of affected evil. I think where there is an element of emotional pleasure gained from other people's pain. But it's difficult because he is absent. You know, there is like he's described as absent, and he doesn't talk, which is an indication of his absence. The fact that he puts on a mask to take away any kind of identity, that approaches, pure evil.
Yeah.
Because he's shedding the personhood. He's shedding his own motivations, his own subjective desires in pursuit of pure evil.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think he gains too much pleasure from his kills, from the stalking, to be considered a pure evil.
Even though when he escapes, it's literally raining and thunderstorming, which could possibly suggest that the storm Michael is coming.
Yeah, So then we get back to the point of...
It's pathetic. Is it pathetic fallacy? Just
this is the issue. This is the interesting part, is that then you start to wonder, is he a supernatural, or natural/supernatural evil? Is he just a divine tool by which evil acts are perpetrated for the sake of cleansing a town?
Yeah.
In which case, you're approaching that more pure evil, because that is evil for the sake of evil. You're only getting evil. If he's being spurred on by a demon or a devil to do these evil acts solely because they're evil, then that's approaching, in my mind, what I would describe as a pure form of evil.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can box him into being a supernatural evil. He has supernatural elements to his killings. He's definitely supernatural to an extent.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's the equivalent of a natural disaster like a storm, a plague, etc. Because he picks his victims, he chooses them. There are cases where he kills people who are in his way, like a storm would. Yeah. But then there's cases where he doesn't kill people who are in his way, like the children.
Yeah.
So I think he's too...
Well, are you saying there aren't survivors of storms?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
There are survivors.
But the storm doesn't intentionally subdue itself to allow those survivors, right? The storm's not rolling through and it's just oh, that's Jimmy's house, let's calm down here.
Yeah. People survive because they managed to duck out of the way or something.
Imagine
the kid runs into Mike. Yeah. By all rights, he should be dead.
They survive through their own ingenuity, their own actions to avoid a natural evil.
But what if running into Michael in front of Tommy, which is Michael's key pursuit at that moment in front of that school, maybe that was a metaphorical kid running under the table? Does that instance in itself save the kid? If the kid had run into Michael at any other given point, if Tommy hadn't been there or whatever, maybe that would have been trouble.
What do you think the significance of Michael letting that child go is? Because it's one of the very rare instances where he doesn't murder.
Mm-hmm.
The only other time he doesn't really murder is Loomis.
Loomis in his and that's
why did he let that child go? I think if we can understand why he let that child go, we can understand more of his motivations, and then we can kind of understand if he's evil or not.
Yeah, because but prior to that, Laurie approaches the Myers house with Tommy to drop the key off because is the house being sold or something?
Yeah,
and
we find out adoptive father is selling that house.
Yeah, that's right. And then Michael appears, and that's when he gets his obsession with Laurie. She came to his house, so.
Well, now if we're looking at the full trilogy, that's not where his obsession with Michael starts. His obsession with Laurie starts. His obsession with Laurie starts because they're related.
Fundamentally, because they're related.
Are you saying?
But it's the fact that she shows up at that door. That opens the gateway, and Tommy's there as well. And once he sees Tommy at that gate, so going back to the school, or forward to the school rather, and he sees Tommy at that gate walking by while his kids run into him, he's already set. He knows that Tommy's going to get him to Laurie, whereas killing this kid is going to do nothing but cause a situation between himself and police or.
I mean, there's plenty of instances where he kills people that he didn't need to kill.
There are, yeah. Second movie, the beginning of the movie, she just kills a random girl.
Yeah,
I've forgotten a name. I don't know if she's got a name.
So, like, how? So why? But why? So
he also lets the old couple go at the beginning of that movie. He obtains the knife from Mrs. What's her face. And but he doesn't actually kill the old couple. He goes into the house next door and ends up killing the younger girl, the babysitter.
So what's special about these people? That
she's too old. Then they don't serve as a threat. Does he see young women babysitters? He sees young women and babysitters as a threat because Judith was looking after him of that night. And because she disappeared to have sex with a boyfriend, that disturbed him as a 6-year-old child, and that's why he has it in for young people. He's not interested in, although he kills the security guard Garrett, but that's because he gets in the way, and Michael's just trying to hide at that point.
You think he just has a vendetta for babysitters?
Yeah, he has a vendetta for babysitters.
So why kill? Why kill his younger sister?
Because she's a babysitter, and also. Yeah.
But I still don't think that's enough to warrant pure evil.
You're killing babysitters.
If you look at
babysitters would argue against you. Any babysitters watching is like, that's pretty evil to me. I would like that.
Is there a person in real life that is pure evil? Can you think of a person in real life that's pure evil?
It would have to be a sort of dictator.
A dictator, not like a serial killer. A dictator.
Or a serial killer.
Because
but the thing with dictators, death occurs on such a larger scale, and it's the fact they amass such a following. Pardon?
Like a Pol Pot.
Yeah, Pol Pots.
Yeah. There's God, this is really testing me. I don't know my geography, but he's a dictator. I want to say. I don't want to say because I'm going to get it wrong. He was a dictator who just started massacring the population, like millions and millions of the population.
Oh, right.
Targeted the intelligent people first. Anyone with glasses was murdered. Yep.
Wow, I didn't know anything about Pol Pots. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. There's museums to the victims where there's caverns of skulls stacked on top of one another of all the victims.
Wow.
Pretty dark.
That is really dark.
He's pretty
evil. That's pretty evil. Killing people for having glasses.
That's pretty evil, yeah.
You'd be dead.
Is that pure evil?
Do I consider that evil? Because I don't have glasses.
I consider it pretty evil.
Yeah, the same way the babysitters also consider it pretty evil that Michael kills babysitters.
I don't think you've convinced me that he's pure evil. I don't think I need to see that. I need you to strip away his
maybe
self-gain.
That's fair enough. I feel that was a good point one conclusion,
Okay.
really, on that.
So what's your next point? I'm intrigued.
Do you not want to... Oh, are you not going to give a point?
I'm intrigued with your points. My points so far have been debunking your points.
Alright, we'll go to the next one then. So, see if we can kick it into a higher gear here. So, Michael is the equivalent of a supernatural, demonic, higher power. Is the causation of one. His otherworldly abilities amass a substantial connection to fate and supernatural.
Yeah, I think that's a much stronger argument for
Yeah.
being pure evil.
I mean, and we did just talk about this, but like the idea of fate, it happens moments after we see the killing of Judith Myers when Laurie approaches the house.
Yeah.
And Tommy says, "You're not supposed to go up there, Laurie, to the Myers house." And Laurie says, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
And that's just like, okay, so if there's anything that just solidifies that this is about the fate of...
Yes, I am supposed to go up at the same time.
The language is so affirmative.
At the same time, Michael's also there.
Yeah.
It's very fateful.
It's very fateful.
Very
There's
fateful.
something there's a connection. There's a supernatural bond going on between these people,
Yeah.
and it's it continues. I want a little definition of fate. I'm sure everyone knows, but like it's a power beyond human control that is believed to determine what happens. Loomis talks about him. He says in Halloween 1 that he watched him for 15 years, sitting in a room, looking at a wall, looking past the wall, looking at this night, waiting for a secret silent alarm to trigger him off. And he says, "Death has come to your little town, sheriff."
Yeah.
And on top of that point, we've got in Halloween 4, Loomis says, "Why now? You waited 10 years. I knew this day would come." So there's this link with Michael being, he has this strong link with fate and this.
The fact that they're always just a few weeks before Thanksgiving. On the 1st of October.
On 1st of October, just a few weeks before. And there's like little other parts dotted throughout the series rather, where it's shown that fate draws Michael to a place, it shows maybe in a metaphysical sense. So I'm talking about Jimmy getting into the car and alerting, he passes out. He gets into the car that Laurie is hiding in. He passes out in that car, and then he sets the horn off, and he alerts Michael as to where she is. There's something drawing Michael to Laurie. Ben Tramer's death foreshadows the burning of Michael.
Okay.
Obviously, Ben Tramer, that causes a massive distraction in itself, which allows Michael to be able to continue pursuing. But Ben Tramer's death sort of, it kind of foreshadows, what will happen to Michael in later stages. And stuff like Don't Fear the Reaper playing when they're in the car together smoking, and Michael in the background in the car. I think that's a really cool shot to me. But, the semblance of the song, the subliminal messaging that's going on there, the death of these girls, it's coming, and it's being told not to fear it. This needs to happen. Why does this need to happen?
I think that's a much stronger case for being a pure form of evil. If we strip Michael entirely of the human element and say he is just a supernatural devil, a demon figure, then that could be a pure form of evil, because you can't consider his actions and his pleasures gained in the same sense.
Yeah.
In which case, what might have been sexual gratification from his murders and from his killings, and why he lets the women linger a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That originally was a personal gain, a personal pleasure that he got from his killings.
Yeah.
Which I think dirtied the water of the pure evil.
Yeah.
However, if he is just this demon incarnate, this devil, then I think whatever actions he does, if they're resulting in an evil outcome, despite, even if he feels pleasure from it,
Mm-hmm.
I think that pleasure isn't because of a sexual element or anything like that. I think it's pleasure because he's succeeding in being evil,
Mm-hmm.
because he's an evil entity,
Mm-hmm.
he's a demon. He's no. If we strip away the human, because
Loomis strips away the human back in the Myers house when he goes, I met him 15 years ago, and I was told there was no conscience left, no understanding of the most rudimentary sense of life, death, of right or wrong.
Does Loomis strip away the evil, or is he just aware of the lack of evil?
What? He doesn't strip away. He strips away the humanity.
Sorry, yeah. Does Loomis strip away the humanity, or is he just explaining the lack of humanity that already existed? Like,
it's just advocating, explaining, because he tells him about the blank face, the blank pale, emotionless face rather, the black eyes, the devil's eyes. He called it the devil's eyes, and he said it keeps it in. He said he wanted to keep him locked up because he realized that living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. It's demonic. Michael is just this. He's really this demonic power, this demon that's been sent to latch on to Laurie for reasons.
I like this definition of Michael because it does paint him as a pure form of evil, because then his pleasure gained it's not a pleasure that takes away from the evil. It's not a pleasure he's doing for himself. It's pleasure at the evil act. It's not pleasure. It's not sexual pleasure or anything like that. It's pleasure for evil's sake.
Yeah.
Which I think is a way more accurate form of pure evil.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have, I think, the difficulty there is that his actions are family orientated.
Yeah.
And we have to consider, is a demon, a devil figure, are they going to be driven by a desire to commit evil acts against family? And is that still a pure evil? Because it's, I feel like a pure evil is indiscriminate, and this is still discriminating.
Possibly. Maybe like Loomis knows, or at least he definitely comes to know the destruction that Michael can cause. Maybe it's arguable that until after the night of Halloween 2, Loomis is only aware that he's just there's something about he knows there's something that's off about this boy from the age of 6.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the murder of his sister.
Aside from the murder of his sister, yeah.
There's something weird about this.
And he believed it's pure evil, and I think Loomis's characterization through the series, his paranoia that builds with Michael, because he starts to believe like, oh my god, Michael's not just like this child murderer that killed his own sister. He's an entity of absolute destruction, and like he'll not only he does have this obsession with Laurie and the family, but he'll cause absolute hell in the wake of that. He'll do whatever is possible, So
and I think another point of evidence that lends credence to Michael not being human at all is his habitual need to take away his natural human features. Like he puts on the mask to commit his very first murder.
Yeah.
And he puts on another one for his second one, and it's an unnatural. Like, it's not like the mask of a natural human figure. It's the mask of William Shatner, an unnatural person. It's this white mask with these empty eyes.
Oh no.
We rarely see Michael. We rarely see his true face. We never hear him, and these are all elements that strip away his humanity.
Yeah.
And kind of show his absence, and in that absence we can find a demon or a devil figure, and I think that just support the idea that he is a true form of evil in that sense. If we can take away its humanity.
In the classroom, I mean, the teacher's talking about fate and stuff, and they describe she's talking about it's sort of fate personified. It's like it's movable like a mountain, stands when man passes away. Fate never changes. It alludes to Michael. I feel like because he's standing outside, motionless, watching Laurie. So like she's saying that to him, talking about fate. I think there's a lot of interconnections here, and realistically, she's talking about Michael, and again, it's just characterizing him as this absolute behemoth of a character, and just there's a couple other links with fate as well. We've got little things, we got visual stuff, so it's stuff like Laurie walking down the same hall, or limping down the same hallway that Michael walks down after her. There's like the psychic connection, the visions that Jamie gets if he's coming and stuff. There's all that. There's that supernatural element. So there's just a lot of links there, and
I mean, we can't ignore Jamie picking out an extremely similar costume.
It is the same clown costume, the Halloween costume.
Yeah, to what Michael murdered his sister in.
Absolutely,
so there's that as well. Like, I mean, there's a chance she could have seen that in like a news story or whatever, but unlikely. But she was.
They probably should have sheltered. No, they didn't shelter because like she knew. Yeah, the kids used to tease about it. And
so she was driven to that. She was driven to that costume through a supernatural fate. Yeah. I think if we look at Michael through that lens of not a tool, not an act of God, but a supernatural being himself, that is a truer essence of evil. Yeah. Because I think him as a tool facilitating a higher power's desires, that's not a true evil, but him as a demon figure or a devil figure, a supernatural figure in himself, I think that is a truer form of evil.
Oh, but wait, no, 1 second, sorry.
Because I feel like we might
did I even start with this? This was going back to like supernatural and being demonic and stuff. So Samhain, and Tim coming back on Halloween night, when the boundaries between the living and the dead have been is lifted, Michael returns, his absence to the world also suddenly becomes a presence, and a demonic one at that.
Why is that evil?
Because it's demonic, and it's in the word demonic. It's.
I think we've got loads of evidence for the demonic element, though. I think you've already presented plenty of evidence for the demonic element.
But it's important.
It is, I guess, but this is more evidence for him being demonic rather than him being evil. This isn't super on track for being the evil element. This is just showing more evidence why he's demonic, and I think we've got sufficient evidence for his demonic nature.
Yeah.
And I don't think this directly answers the question.
I think it.
You're just giving more evidence for something we've already proven.
I think it's important to go into Samhain and why that sort of accounts for him being evil. Into returning on the night of the dead, and coming back to kill on these nights, these fateful nights where loads of people suffer, where buildings, vehicles are blown up, or causing deaths of innocents. The mob mentalities that are created because people don't handle it well and cause the death of Ben and the guy in the fourth one who just gets shot.
Well, we've talked about all that.
Have we talked about?
We've just not directly said it's linked to Samhain, and I don't think you need to. Honestly, I think we're probably better off not mentioning Samhain because it really
Samhain.
It's ruined by later movies. That I honestly think the Samhain. I don't even like the Samhain part of 2. I think it's just like.
Oh, and the knife in the picture, and then the Samhain on the wall.
Knife in the picture, fine.
Yeah.
Samhain on the wall, I think it's a completely unnecessary part of that movie.
No, it's not, because it's to do with evil spirits coming back from the dead. Because they used to see, because Kells thought that it was the presence of otherworldly spirits made it easy for druids to make predictions about the future, which is again linking it all to fate.
That's naturally part of Halloween. Like Halloween has that already existing spirits coming back from the dead to walk amongst the living. That's why people
But
wear
it's the significance of Samhain in Halloween. The movie's called Halloween. I don't think we can talk about Halloween without actually talking about Halloween a little bit, especially when it comes to the evil.
I don't think it's significant to the evil.
I think it's significant to the evil.
I don't think it's significant.
There's a little bit significant.
It's
to the
significant
evil.
to supernatural.
Evil spirits coming back from the dead, possessed bodies. Because Michael's essentially just this fucking vessel.
I think,
and he comes back and starts killing people.
Better served as a 2-minute evidence for him being demonic, and then moving on to why him being demonic is evil. I think this is too far removed. This is more evidence for him being demonic, which is then used as a vehicle for his evilness. This isn't evidence for him being evil. It's not directly. It's evidence for him being demonic.
Yeah.
And but it's not.
Which is evil.
Yeah. So I think it's too much of a tangent to go on. It'd be like me saying, it'd like me talking for 30 minutes, just to show that he has emotions.
Yeah.
And that the fact that he has emotions makes him evil. We don't want to spend 30 minutes presenting one part of an evidence, which then suggests something else.
I mean, Michael is biblically is an archangel as well. We've got so he already sort of exudes that sort of biblical presence. So Michael, a definition of Michael is chaos deus. Chaos deus? Chaos deus.
I don't know Latin.
It's Latin, meaning who is like God. I should talk.
It's interesting. That touches on my point, but I'll wait to bring that up because that's what my point is.
And he's in the Bible. Saint Michael was known as the captain, the leader of heaven's armies against Satan. The name Myers. That's an Anglo-Saxon origin for someone like Mayor. So it's got a very powerful name.
We love alliteration.
Yeah. Oh, we do love alliteration as well. Double M, like a superhero. Clark Kent. He's just a very empowering, isn't he? It's very dominant, and I think it's also deceitfully normal. It could be like, like Michael Myers or Mike Myers. There's literally a guy.
It can be. I'm sure he doesn't.
It's the neighbor. It could be. It's got it's a human twang, but with a very dominant nature to it. So there's and the religious connotation as well. I mean, we've got representations of the triad also in here as well. So the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Throughout the movie, I shot him 6 times. He's Loomis shouting that out 3 times at the beginning of that movie. 6, obviously. 6 number of the beast as well. We've got 6 bodies that were found. 6 bodies, Sheriff. That is what's between here and Richmond, a filling station in flames. Is Loomis going off on his world is ending tangent again. It's all quite biblical. It's really it's interesting those connotations coming in with that supernatural side of stuff as well, and also I wanted to talk about the settings as well and how they have religious connotations, because in the 4th one this was really big. It's Richmond Federal Sanitarium, and they descend into hell, and there's the screaming, there's the red lights, and the security guy says Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place. I love the intro to that movie. It's really, really good, and they're going to collect Michael to send him back to Smith's Grove, I think. They're going to transfer him, and he's been dead to the world-ish for the last 10 years because he's just been passed out because he's had burns and whatever. His face is all wrapped. I was gonna say mummified. I don't think. No, I'm gonna ignore that.
No, he's not dead yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Dead yet.
But yeah, so
Spoiler.
so it's like I said, it's this. He literally ascends from hell on the day before Samhain to confront Jamie and the people of Haddonfield. Like he's just, and he just causes chaos.
That does lend more support to him being an actual devil demon figure. The fact that he ascends from hell.
He ascends from hell.
Rather than a hellish figure influencing his behaviors.
Yeah.
But it begs the question then, if this element of fate is what makes him evil, is fate itself evil? Like if he's acting on fate, if it's this unnatural timeline powered etc. that this is the outcome that must happen.
Yeah.
Is that itself evil? Because I would say
you could argue
fate
it's not.
Isn't evil. It is just the natural occurrence, the natural order of things, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. But I guess it depends where this fate comes from.
I think it's really important to argue this right now. So maybe Michael, maybe that idea of fate, like you said, isn't evil. Maybe his pursuit of Laurie is just to stop the lineage of what Michael is, this killing demon. Because as we see in the fourth movie, Jamie takes the place of Michael and becomes the new Michael. She kills. Who did she kill in the bathroom? Do you remember?
Is it not?
It's not Rachel, is it?
I can't remember who she kills.
I think it's Rachel. She kills someone in the bathroom and she comes upstairs.
Is it her mother?
Oh.
Is it like adopted mom?
Yeah, I think it might be the adopted mom.
She kills her as she's running the bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on that sense, is fate evil? Was Michael just trying to stop this from occurring again? If he had killed Laurie, there would have been no Jamie. That would have been the end. What would have been the fate of Michael from then had he succeeded?
Yeah,
that's a big question.
One definition of evil is the pursuit of an unworthy goal where the outcome of achieving that goal is less valuable than if nothing had happened at all. Yeah. So, in this case, is Michael evil? Michael wouldn't be evil at all if killing all the people in Halloween 1 and 2 meant and killing Laurie at the end of 2.
Yeah.
If that
or one. Yeah.
If killing them because we've got to put a pin in where it stops being valuable. So if he's trying to end this line of evil within himself, if he knows it's passed down in his family, and he's trying to end that line, does killing people in 1 and 2, and then say he kills Laurie at the end of 2, if he managed to do that before Jamie was born, and he stops the line there, is that more valuable than if he'd done nothing? Probably not, because if he'd done nothing, no one would have died at all.
No one would have died at all.
But
what if Jamie would have turned anyway?
I know, but that's what I mean. If he'd done nothing and passed away in the hospital, and the spirit went on to the next family member, how many murders would the next person commit?
Yeah.
If we can...
Is it a self-destructive lineage? It's a big question. What do we not know about the Strode lineage? What is the What is the supernatural entity around that?
If we can say that him killing all those people to stop his lineage was more valuable than doing nothing, was more valuable because it meant, if doing nothing meant more people die when the evil passed on, then that's not evil, because through this one definition, that's not evil, because the outcome of the goal is more valuable than if he'd let the evil be passed on. It's like the tram scenario. Do you
they try and hit one person, or do you hit 1,000 people?
Yeah, it's like.
But the one person is someone Is that the?
Well, it's so there's loads of different tram scenarios, and a lot of the popular one is there is a tram. It's on a track and it's en route to kill 5 people tied to the track.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing an evil act by changing the track so it switches to there's one person?
Yeah.
So it requires you to commit an action,
Mm-hmm.
but it means less people die overall, but you're still the facilitator of that act.
That's right.
You're still the reason why that
still
person died.
Yeah, still the person.
That person
you
wouldn't have died without your intervention, but
by
more
chance.
people would have.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we're seeing with Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He's seeing it as the tram thing. So he's got the lever in front of him,
Mm-hmm.
he can pull it,
Yeah.
less people will die, but his actions cause them to die.
That's
But if he
correct.
does nothing, the evil gets passed on,
Mhm.
and more people die later on.
This is what
So we have
I think
to
this is
understand-
this is my biggest doubt in, like, this is why I don't think that he's the truest form of evil, because I think it's so easily arguable that Michael is this truth seer or something, so to speak, because like the history of like what a clown is as well.
I don't
They
know the
are.
history of
Do
clowns.
you not know the history of clowns?
I'm
Well, let me
ignorant.
tell you about the history
I'm
of a clown.
equally ignorant to the history of
So
clowns.
it was. So that's what Michael's attire was when he was like 6 years old. Like
Mhm.
Michael was a
And
clown,
Jamie's.
and Jamie's as well. They are like, so they've got distinctive makeup, ludicrous antics. They've got performing buffoonery, whose purpose is usually to induce laughter, but usually this comes at the behest of victims. There's always victims involved in these things. The role of a clown is to be rude, impolitic, or socially unacceptable,
Yes.
which is the role of the truth sayer. Like that was like the traditional role in
The original court justice.
Archimedes of Rome and medieval Rome. Archimedes.
Okay. I'm almost
The
guaranteed
beloved
that's pronounced
character.
Archimedes.
Archimedes. Oh, okay, thanks.
I-
Thanks for stepping in there, dude. I
Guaranteed
really
that's-
appreciate
that's-
that.
Where are we looking?
Archimedes.
Archimedes.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Archimedes. Archimedes.
Archimedes.
Archimedes.
And yeah, so they're essentially the beloved character who is funny and evil. Like the role of a clown is to be an evil. To be evil, they're a truth sayer. Like they like
I don't remember laughing out loud to Michael Myers.
not laughing out loud, but but I'm just saying.
Laura,
I'm
you
just saying, like
silly.
the evil clown aspect. Like he's still focusing less away from the humor and more on, he sees the truth. Also, you say you're wrong
Whoa.
about laughing. Ghost Bob is the best thing that Michael ever did.
Ghost
Ghost
Bob.
Bob. And also, maybe his funny little displays of like victims around. To Michael, that could be hilarious. You're telling me that he wasn't like chuckling to himself maybe when Bob drops from the rafters and swings into Laurie, his body.
Not if he's completely absent. He's
Yeah.
not like. Got him.
Or maybe he was like, this'll make her laugh. Just wait. Or she didn't laugh.
No. Timing was all wrong. Yeah, I don't think it's a hard argument to make Michael funny.
No, it's not about
Okay.
making Michael
No,
funny. It's
no,
about
okay.
seeing about him.
About ultimate honesty.
Yeah, the ultimate honesty. Yeah,
Mm.
and that is his link with fate.
Such a devastating one because if he is solely acting to end his lineage,
Mm-hmm.
it is the tram scenario where he's turning the tracks so less people die.
Mm-hmm.
And is that even evil? It's hard
Yeah.
because there's elements of evil, definitions of evil, which suggest that pleasure, affected evil,
Mm-hmm.
pleasure has to be derived from the evil act.
Yeah.
And those who derive pleasure from an evil act, but are aware that they do and don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
they should be sympathized with, or at least pitied, rather than scorned.
Yeah.
So is he even evil if he's trying to save?
If he's trying to save
more people down the line.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
It's very difficult to say. I think it's the strongest argument we've got. I want to look at a little bit maybe at the parallels between him and Loomis, and like the way that Loomis is constantly trying to the obsessions that they have with, like, there's like Loomis had an obsession with Michael's obsession with the family, Michael trying to kill, Loomis trying to save, Loomis becoming, you know, ever some more crazy, while Michael.
I think this suggestion that, you know, Michael is doing the trembling, he's trying to stop more evil following, is really supported by the fact that he does limit his victims. He doesn't kill absolutely everyone he physically can.
Yeah.
Which is him trying to mitigate how many people die. He does kill the people that would potentially cause him to be captured before he can finish his goal.
Yeah.
But even more so, he deliberately doesn't kill Loomis.
Yeah.
Because he knows Loomis also wants the same goal.
They have a
So he knows that if he fails, he needs Loomis around to continue to achieve his goal. Loomis, despite Loomis trying to stop Michael, they're still trying to achieve the same thing, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And really, it doesn't seem like he's absolutely evil, even debatable if he is evil.
Yeah.
Because they're both trying to achieve the same goal.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, if Michael is trying to stop the lineage continuing,
yeah,
then I don't even know if he's evil.
Because by that sense, Loomis trying to stop Michael would be more evil. Because by stopping Michael, the lineage would perpetuate.
But he's ignorant to the perpetuating
Is ignorance the truest form of evil? Loomis! Loomis is the true evil in this entire series. It's obvious. How did you not see that?
Terrible, terrible Loomis.
But yeah, I think that's the hardest part. You know what? I think ultimately that's why I just don't think that Michael is the truest form of evil.
I think so either.
The motivations are too blurred. Like, there's too much that happens around that. Some things are a little bit too humane. Like, and ultimately Michael may be causing death and destruction, but it's all consequential. Like, he doesn't plan for it to happen. It just, think the hospital blew up because that was, like, essentially that was Loomis that did that.
Loomis did blow it up. Yeah.
All Michael wanted to do was end Laurie's life.
Yeah.
That was it.
So, just completely reasonable. Completely reasonable when you look at the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But this does lead me on to my point a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll present it if you're happy to move on from this, but it does work quite nicely with this.
I was thinking, I just wanted to talk about, because I was just thinking, his approach in Halloween 4 is a lot more direct than it is in the other Halloweens.
See, I wondered that mainly from like an in-universe thing, not anything metaphysical or like a theme. I just wondered that because he's injured. He's not as young as he was. He's not as healthy. As he was.
So
he doesn't have the luxury of being as spontaneous and innovative in his kills. He has to make sure he gets it done.
It's Jamie,
because he can't. He might not be able to take those 6 bullets and walk away.
Yeah, maybe.
He's injured, so I always saw it more as he's direct in the 4th movie.
Man, I'm feeling sympathy for Michael. You're making me. Oh my god, poor guy.
Poor guy. Burnsley is always trying to do is stop the evil from continuing. But yeah.
If you want to go into your next point, yeah, absolutely. I just thought about that.
So my point is, we can measure Michael's truest form of evil by measuring Laurie's truest form of goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a definition of evil. It's the mirror thesis, which is that a true form of evil is just a mirror version of a moral saint. So evil is just the complete inverse and mirror version of a very virtuous perfect being.
Yeah. Okay.
So, so if evil is like two sides of the same coin,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
evil on
Right.
one side, good on the other.
Yeah.
They're the same thing. They're just mirrored.
Right.
So if that's the case, if we can follow this mirror thesis of evil,
Mm-hmm.
then the first one at least presents Laurie as a good, virtuous character.
Yeah.
She's she's the conservative type. Blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, blah,
Yeah, he looks
blah,
after
blah,
children
blah.
and stuff.
Yeah, she's a very good character.
Yeah.
So Michael Myers would be the mirror image of Laurie. So his evil would be a mirror image of Laurie's
So they're a
goodness.
reflection of each other.
Yeah.
That's. I'm going to bring up quickly, but in H20, there is literally a moment where they look at each other through a glass window and they see, and it's just that reflection, like imagery wise. That's really cool.
Exactly.
But obviously, we're not talking about that.
Because
But
it doesn't
yeah,
exist, does it?
yeah,
But yeah. So exactly, that is. So the mirror thesis suggests, that evil is just a mirror of goodness.
mm.
So we then have to look at how good Laurie is to determine how bad Michael is.
Mm.
And if Laurie didn't transgress that one time with the weed, she would be a completely virtuous character. She'd be completely virtuous. She'd be solely good. And so we could say that because of how good she is, she doesn't display any significant evils herself.
Mm.
So then, because of that, the mirror would suggest
But
Michael would
Michael's-
also be a true
yeah.
form of it, but she does transgress.
Which means which
He-
is
and he
why
transgress-
he saves a lot
The
of people.
child,
yeah,
and why he
child.
doesn't go kill Loomis and why he
Yeah.
doesn't kill the older couple,
Yeah.
because Laurie isn't perfectly good.
Yeah.
So the mirror version of Laurie can be perfectly bad.
Mhm.
That is my point. He can't be a true form of evil because his mirror version isn't the truest form of
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. That's good to use it using Laurie as a measuring stick against.
That's
Yeah.
my point.
That's your.
That's my point.
Yeah.
My
If
explanation.
if they do mirror each other, now could we say that these are definite mirrors? Because she's running away from him and he's following, which is absurd.
Yeah, I think your examples of the fate of them following the same path
Yeah.
are also examples of them mirroring each other.
Yeah.
Like,
that's correct.
They appear at the door of the Myers house,
Mm.
standing across from
Yeah,
each
they
other.
do. Yeah, they do mirror each other in that way, don't they? Yeah,
And
that's
There's
yeah.
lots of times where they're just staring directly at each other, mirrored image, standing still, looking at each other,
Mm.
mirror images of each other. There's lots of those times.
Yeah, also the relative thing, like that gives you the direct link,
And like,
that's what acts as that mirror boundary.
and then we've got mirror behaviors where they're literally in opposite houses. Laurie doing a morally good thing,
morally
looking
good
after
thing,
children,
and then
raising
yeah,
children, and he's doing a morally bad thing.
and he's
killing
he's like, trying to recreate the night from
people. Yeah,
1963.
so there's lots of like their storylines mirror each other. Like when Laurie does something good, Michael Myers does something bad, and when Laurie does something bad, smoking weed, Michael Myers does something good. He doesn't kill the kid, or he doesn't kill somebody he could have killed.
Yeah.
So there is there's definitely a mirror there throughout the movies.
Yeah.
Obviously we can't carry that mirror into Halloween 4 because Laurie is no longer there.
No, but then
And
he's mirroring Jamie. But does he mirror Jamie that much? The fact that she has visions of him.
I don't know if that's mirroring. I think that's blurring lines into something else.
Yeah.
That's like merging rather than mirroring.
Yeah.
Like they're not opposites anymore because they're becoming similar.
Oh my God! Wait, she literally sees him in a mirror.
She does, yeah.
She does literally see him in a mirror in
See him
in the store.
Yeah.
I couldn't determine that was real, wasn't it? Because he grabs the mask. That's the point he gets his mask back. Because for the entirety of the rest of the movie, well, beforehand, he's just in the bandages. When he kills the mechanic, he's in the bandages.
Yeah.
When he drives away, he's in the bandages. I think at the store, that's when he first comes into contact with Jamie, and it's literally by seeing in the mirror.
Yeah.
He's a mirror of the Yeah, he lives. Oh.
So, but then the reverse of that is when Jamie inherits the evil, becomes evil.
Yeah.
Is Michael Myers then good because he's dead? How can you mirror something? How can the mirror continue after he
Well,
dies?
it's presumed. Well, I mean, we don't we don't talk about 5 and 6 here, but it's presumed at the end of 4 that he's dead. There's, I'm pretty sure Loomis says it's over now and all this stuff. So if Michael's dead, the evil is gone. There is absence of evil is good, which is Justinian, and so that means that Jamie is evil now.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
So,
I really enjoy this.
So in that case, Michael Myers never is the truest form of evil, because the person he mirrors is never the truest form of good.
Yeah.
But Jamie is the truest form of evil.
Is Jamie the truest form of evil?
Because her mirror is the absence of... Her mirror is nothing.
Yeah.
So she's got nothing. So there's no goodness... Like, she is just only bad. Because there's nothing to mirror. She can only be evil from that point on. So is Jamie the truest form of evil?
Dude, they set up such a good premise for like 4, 5 and 6. Like, because she's got no mirror, like, there's no more lineage. Jamie, 15 years later, would have just been this absolute murderous serial killer that had no motive, was doing what Michael did but without any reason.
Yeah, so because we're ignoring those movies, but the fact
I'm talking about hypothetical fit 5. They had something there. But that excites me. I really thought that could be cool as a sequel, but I guess he's just left to your imagination. Maybe there's not much of a movie they could do with it.
But yeah, I think then the fact that Jamie murders with she murders an adoptive family member. She doesn't murder someone that could inherit her evil.
No.
She murders just an adoptive family member.
Yeah.
Michael, his first murder was the sister.
So
a potential to inherit the evil if he were to die.
Yeah.
So when Jamie does it, it's not for any righteous purpose of stopping the evil.
No, she's just essentially just killing another person.
She's just killing for killing. So I think Jamie's the truest form of evil. Michael isn't.
I really like that. Oh,
yeah,
dude,
I think that's it.
That was really good.
I don't know where I can go from here.
Oh, I don't know where I can go from here. I always had. I had my doubts whether Michael was because of that link with Laurie.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't know enough about it. But I think you just really put that. I really think you just nailed that. I really do.
I don't know where we can go from here.
I mean, I can try. I can try.
Alright, because there's not much to argue on that point. I think that point is evidence explained and put to bed.
I mean, the only other place I can go to is referencing, like, so if we're going to talk on, scales of evil, what scale of evil, what evils does Michael commit?
Okay.
Which cause him to be evil? And for this, I'll reference the 10 Commandments. I'll reference the
7 Deadly Sins.
7 Deadly Sins. That's right. And Dante's Inferno, which is grand piece of literature. So, in the 10 Commandments, obviously, so what we established that Michael does,
he breaks the first one.
He breaks. I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods but me. But Michael is very much taking power into his own hands. And also being of a supernatural entity, there's definitely some groundbreaking stuff there.
Definitely does not honour thy neighbour.
No, does not honour
thy neighbours.
Honour your father and mother.
Definitely doesn't.
Absolutely did not do that.
Sorority does not honour their parents.
You've got you shall not commit murder, which I think he does. And
can we point to anywhere in the
where he
trilogy
actually murders?
Where he murders? Every time he uses a weapon, and it's technically the weapon that murders, not him.
Because remember, it's as the saying goes, and I think it applies here with knives and telephone cords. But guns don't kill people. People kill people with guns.
Yeah.
I really butchered that.
Yeah, you did.
Guns
just like Michael butchered his victims.
Yeah.
So he murders.
He murders, and he also
probably.
steals. And he steals
He does
as well.
steal. He steals that car right off the bat.
Yeah, he just steal the
Grand
car.
Theft
Yeah.
Auto.
And yeah, you know what? I was gonna say the mask. I was gonna go for the actual store robbery, but yeah, he steals the whole car.
It's the first theft.
Yeah,
He steals life.
He steals life as well, and you know, so he breaks those 10 commandments. He's a lustful being.
I think he definitely.
Yeah,
some episodes of Lost.
Yeah, he's arguable that he's lustful.
He's got a lust for lack of life.
Lust for the lack of life, and it's arguable here because there's like, does he display anger, or is it mainly just the strangle of the telephone cord? Are they just?
I think. I don't
think it's not really anger, is it?
The best scene I think for him displaying any emotions really is in 2 when it's right at the end. Loomis and Laurie are in the surgery room with Michael, and they're like baiting him back and forth.
Yeah.
And I think he does seem to be frustrated.
Yeah.
In that.
He's got blood in his eyes.
He's got blood in his eyes.
He's got blood in his eyes.
I think, but I don't know if he never gets like.
Prior to that, he did just walk through a door as well.
Angry. Yeah, he never gets angry.
That's pretty angry.
No, it's fateful.
It is quite fateful.
Does he get angry when trying to strangle Laurie at the end of 1 and she demasks him? That's the only time we can actually see his expression. And I'm pretty sure it's blank.
I think it's just blank.
It is blank. So
yeah, he does. He looks, and his only concern is to reapply the mask, and then he gets shot.
Even if his bodily, his body language suggests he's angry, I don't think he actually displays proper anger at all.
No, I would agree with that. So mainly it's just lust and
I don't know
fraud.
7 deadly sins. I'm sorry. I don't think he.
Is fraud one?
I don't know my 7 deadly.
Well, you know what? Dante talks about fraud, so let's go into it. So Michael, according to Dante's Inferno, exhibits examples of many sins at a young age. That's being fraud, murder, violence.
How does he fraud?
What?
How does he?
Because he's fraudulent. Because he wears the mask, and he goes out on Halloween night amongst people and doesn't kill any of those people either. There's a scene where in 2 where he's just walking. Remember the boombox kid? And he walks into him and he just sort of moves along. And Michael's he's just another person dressed up for Halloween. He's fraudulent. He uses his disguise, his white face. You know, it's kind of a human-looking face, but if you were far away, you could probably think that he's not.
Fraud in this case is that he's presenting himself as another person.
And the workman's gear as well, the overalls, and the boots. He presents himself as someone who immediately might you're not gonna think anything bad of. You can't see the mask itself. You can't see his face. You don't know what his body. His whole body other than his hands are covered. You don't know what any of Michael looks like at all. He's a fraudulent character, much like a clown.
Much like a clown. Fraudulent
masquerade.
Do you have a thing against clowns?
I got a thing for clowns. Oh, and also fraudulent in the fact that he dresses up as a ghost to kill Linda. He's fraudulent. He's a fraudulent being. Yeah. You know, so basically, in accordance to Dante's Inferno, he exhibits the 3 deepest circles of hell. So by rights, what Dante considered to be the most evil, Michael is all of those things. Let me end it by saying this then. Do you know what was truly evil that happened in 1963?
Shit. Yes.
Do you?
JFK.
It's pretty evil, but it wasn't as evil as this.
Oh, I don't know that.
bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. I said the bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. I said the bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. I said the bird, bird. It was a 1963 song by the Trashmen. Came out in 1963.
Get out! You're a trash man.
Can you imagine Mini Michael Myers killing Judith Myers to the Trashmen's bird is the word.
I can't believe that's how you invented this.
Fuck.
What?
No, there's one part. There's one part.
What?
There's one part about fate.
What part?
Reverend Jack Sayer. I always forget about this guy.
Who?
What do you mean who?
Reverend.
Oh, you're hunting him, aren't you? Oh, always got apocalypse, end of the world. It's always got a face and a name.
That's
Do you
a
remember
character.
what Reverend Jackson? He's fucking like drunk out of shit. So Loomis is stranded.
Is this
Yeah, four. After the what's it called scene? After the gas station blows up, Loomis is trying to get a hitchhike from the side of the road, and these teens pull up and like, come in, old man. And he's like, okay, and then they drive away. So that's like. So they leave him, and then Reverend Jack Sayer comes up, who's this drunk ass like priest guy, and he's like, "You can come with me, old man. Where you going?" And then he gets in, and there's actually like I've got that in here, right? There's loads of significance. I thought it was about setting. I was talking about like setting and stuff. So Reverend Jack says, like, you're hunting it, aren't you? Just like me. Apocalypse, end of the world, Armageddon. It always has a face and a name. You can't kill damnation. It don't die like a man do. And it gives and he calls Loomis a pilgrim, and it would imply that Haddonfield is sort of this religious place, he's making his way. He's making a pilgrimage to Haddonfield.
Like Michael does.
Like Michael is making this same pilgrimage to.
Michael. Same person.
Yeah, yeah, same person. We've said that they. So if
same goal.
If Loomis and Michael are the same, and Michael and Jamie and Laurie mirror each other, then does someone mirror Loomis?
Someone mirror Loomis.
I think so. I think it's a trifecta, to be honest. This is like this is a triad.
Yeah,
this is a
holy
triad.
trinity.
It's a holy trinity.
trinity.
So it's links to the Bible and links to spiritual things and links to demonicism. Which is definitely a word. Is it not just it was a really weird scene to have Jack Sayer in there, because I never liked it originally. I was like, what is going on? But it's cool because it links Loomis in with this idea of fate and the supernatural, and it's how that language and how what he expresses means that stuff.
Alright, let's close this bitch out.
Okay. Thanks for listening to our P.E.E On The Podcast. What do you think about Michael being the truest form of evil? Is there anything we missed?
Absolutely.
Are we two dumb idiots that don't know what we're talking about?
So
Please let us know
so
in the comments section down below. I've been Ryan Taylor. This has been Indy Mancini. You can find our social media in the description below. Feel free to inbox us at acidmouthproductions at gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching this podcast, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Or will we?